Hello and welcome. Today I am back on the plot and I'm really excited because we're going to actually plant some things into my new beds. I have got an extremely packed car here. We've got some compost in here, we've got some dug up garlic and some dug up broad beans from the home garden. We've got the hoops and cloches to cover them all over so we don't get any allium leaf miner in the garlic and we don't get rabbits eating the broad beans and beetroot that I've brought down. And basically we better get going because I need to get these crops in the ground before they go dry. So I have done a bit more work since we were last here. I have now got 4 raised beds in the ground. So let me show you what it's looking like at the moment. So here are the beds. I was working on this one last night, so it's not quite finished. And I do just need to top up these beds before I plant into them and put some bloodfish and bone in. But I did manage to get the tulips in to mirror the other side. And also my mum has come to visit. So say hello, Mum.
Hello everyone. Hello.
So let's get cracking with these beds and get something planted into them. So the first thing I'm going to do is give this bed and the other beds a thorough watering because they are quite dry at the moment, and even though I watered them last week they have gone dry, and I want to get this layer wet before I put the top layer of compost on. Look, I got my mum to do the work for me now. Since I've now got my mum doing the watering for me, I'm going to add a couple of handfuls of fish blood and bone onto the bed. And I've also got some chicken manure pellets, which I'm going to add as well. I'll just finish adding these chicken manure pellets, and then I'll get the compost, which I've dug up from my garden, and I'll add that as a top layer. And then we'll get planting. These bags are really heavy. These are homemade compost though from my garden, so they should be good on this bed. When I say homemade compost, what I mean is I've made it over the years in my compost heap and added it to the beds that were in my garden, so it should be good. When I dug this up this morning, there were quite a lot of worms in this compost, so I'm hoping that they'll integrate and they'll be down here now. Trying to get as many of the big clumps out as I can. Now we get on to the really exciting bit, which is to start planting the garlic, which I dug up earlier. And it's sort of like got roots like that. So I'm just going to dig a fairly big hole and pop them in. I don't actually know how well these will transplant because it's a bit late in the year, but they might still give us some harvest. I'm going to leave 20 centimetres between each station both ways, which then if I want to interplant something to get going later in the season gives me a bit of room in the middle to pop a new plant in. So let's get on with this. And while I'm doing this side, my mum is raking the other side for me, ready to plant the beetroot in.
Do I look like somebody who knows what they're doing?
Not at all. Well, that's this bed all planted up now. I've got one type of garlic on one side and one type on this side. I think that side is Marco and this side is Provincial White possibly, or Solent White, something like that. And I have still got some left over, so I'll have to put them into pots and grow them on in pots at home now, because I haven't got any room in any beds down here for the spares to go. So I'm just going to leave my little house elf, my mum, to do the watering here, and we'll move over to the other bed, which has been prepped in exactly the same way as this one, but we're going to plant beetroot and some broad beans in that one.
Am I Dobby or Winky?
Winky you are, no?
Winky. Oh, fetch me a glass of wine then, please.
So we'll move on to this side now, and this is going to have beetroot and the broad beans, as I said. So I'm going to plant the beetroot 4 in a row and then 4 that way as well. So it'll be a nice grid of 4 times 4, because I've grown 16 stations, which I thought would be half a bed. Oh, I better go and get my stick, hadn't I? Otherwise I'll be a bit wonky. Put my gloves back on. Not that I mind having dirty hands, it's just when you're operating the camera, you don't want to get your phone all dirty as well.
Have I watered them enough?
Yeah.
I've given them 2 cans.
Yep, that's
2 cans between the 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Is that enough?
yeah.
'Cause I can go over again.
No, that should be fine.
Sure.
Thank you, Mum. Oh, it's nice to have help in the garden.
Well, I dare say in days gone by, love, your father would be down here with you, and I would be in the house doing the ironing.
Well, yes, yeah.
Oh, well, I shall go and sit on my chair for a little minute now then,
Yeah, go on,
until
Mum.
my watering
It's required.
is required. Feel like the lady at the well, no? Oh, it's definitely warmer today.
My mum is taking a 5-minute break. Well deserved. It's already 1 o'clock, Mum.
Really? Good
Yeah.
gracious. How time flies when you're having fun.
I know. I'm going to split this one in half because I'm missing a module, and this one has got about 6 in this module, which is far too many. You usually only want about 4. 3 usually makes big beetroot. 4 makes slightly smaller. There we go. So here's the beetroot all planted up. Time to move on to the broad beans. Right, so my broad beans didn't do very well in the home garden. I thought they had done better than they had. When I went to look, I only had 5 plants in the end. My chickens had got in there when they were growing and scratched around. So that's what happened with them. But I'm going to plant the 5 at the end here. So they're looking like that. And they're not doing too bad. They're a bit droopy now, obviously, because I've dug them out of the ground. So I'll plant them. But I've also got some beans, some actual broad beans that I'm going to grow. And I was kindly sent these from Ali from my rusty garden. And one variety is Eleanor and one variety is Broad Windsor. So I'm going to do a couple of rows, probably 1.5 rows of the Eleanor and 1.5 rows of the Windsor. So let's get on and get that done. Now I'm on to the beans. I'm just gonna make dibber holes where I want them. And then we can just plant them in. So we'll have 6 of the Eleanor here and then 5 of the Windsor there. I'm going to plant 2 per station just to ensure that something happens. Okay, so I'm going to ask my mum to water all this in for me now while I go over and net the other side, and I'll come back and net this side then. But I want to net that side with Enviromesh to keep out any allium leaf miner. I hate netting. Well, that's this side done. I just need to net the other side. I need to come up with a better way of netting this because it's going into the floor, and when I want to mow it's going to get in the way, so I do need to think a bit better about this. But I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I've got to get this done. You alright there, Mum?
Pardon, love?
You alright there?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks.
Taking it easy?
Lovely jubbly, yes.
So this is this all netted now as well. So that's 2 beds all set up and ready to go. So I'm really pleased to have got this done today. It's there's still a long way to go, but it is beginning to look a little bit like an allotment now. So yeah, that's really good. Well, that's it from me for today. All I can say about my work today is lovely job, and take care everybody.